Hi guys, got a quick demonstration for you here of how to set up the YouTube import module. Now if you haven't already got a content type set up to hold this data, first off go set up a content type. I highly recommend you use the YouTube the YouTube field module to create a YouTube field to hold your video field. You don't have to. You set it up to video, but it's really easy to do that. So go create a content type however you feel comfortable with. Don't worry about the display for now. Just add all the fields you're going to want. Just as a quick to show you before you create the content type. These are all your different options for the data we can pull from YouTube. So you can pull the title of the video, the description, the published date, a thumbnail image, the video ID, the share URL, the duration, the dimension, the definition, number of views, number of likes, number of dislikes, number of favorites, number of comments. So when you create your content type, you can create one for all of those if you like. You can create ones just for one. You're going to at least need to create one for the video itself, which in the YouTube field you can either use the video ID or the share URL. Either's fine. Either will work. So once you've got your content type, what you're going to do is you're going to go to admin content / YouTube import. If you've got the admin menu like I have, it's content, YouTube import. You can see my fields are already put in, but we'll leave it blank as if it's brand new. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is get your API key. You'll notice the help link at the top. So if we open that in a new tab, this is basically instructions on what I'm about to show you. So visit YouTube, the YouTube import settings page. Okay, how do we get an API key? So we need to go to the console, developers.google.com/APIs/library. So we'll open that in a new tab. It is currently a little bit buggy. So if you are having a problem with it, just refresh the page a few times. I've found it generally fixes the problem. So you want to go to create a new project or select the project you already have. You want this button up in the corner, and we'll go to create a project. And I'm going to do bigmondi.co.uk. It doesn't accept dots in the name, but I like to have it readable as the website. You can call the project name whatever you like, it doesn't matter. And I'm only creating bigmondi.co.uk because I'm going to need that later. So then you're going to get this list of Google APIs, and you want to click in the search box and just type YouTube, and you'll get a list of all the different YouTube APIs, and you want to click on YouTube Data API version 3, and then you get this box here, enable. We'll click on enable. Okay, it'll take a little bit of time depending on how fast your internet connection is, but once it's done, you'll get this little box that says go to credentials. So we need to go create the credentials. And here we go. Most of this you can leave. You can leave most of this alone. It's fairly straight. If you wish, you can skip the step and create an API key. So we want to create an API key. And we'll click on server key. Just before I do that, I want to show you the way we're in instructions, because there's actually two different ways you can access that. So we click on API key and then server key, but the way that we're showing you in the instructions, we don't use the shortcut link. We go directly to the credentials page here, and this will be if you've already got a setup. This is where you're going to go. So create credentials, API key, server key. So it's the same. It's two different routes, two different sets of links to get the same thing. Now we can call it anything we like. doesn't really matter, so I'm going to leave it as server key 1. Now then we need the server IP address. This is the IP address of our website. If you don't know your server's web address, we can open a command prompt. So in my case, I'm on Windows, so it's Windows and the R key, and type CMD in the run box, and we go ping bigmond.co.uk. And if you notice, it comes up, it tells us the IP address of that website. You can do pretty much the same thing on Linux. You just ping it, it'll tell you the IP address. If you are hosting the website locally, you can just go to Google and type my IP, and it will tell you your IP address. So we're just going to put that on my other monitor to make it easier to read. So we type it into this box. So we're 81.1. Help if I don't lose focus. 81.133.216.151. Okay, and then we just hit create. The first time you actually click create, it will lose focus from the box where you type in your IP address. So it won't actually click the create button, just bear that in mind. It will then, once it's finished, it will show you this API key, and we can click this button on the right hand side to copy, and we click copy, and it's copied. If for some reason you lose that box, it's basically here. You select it and Control C to copy. One thing you need to bear in mind, once we have our API key, we come back here and we paste it in here. If you take note where my cursor is, when I copied it, it copied it with a space at the end, which we need to delete, and a space at the other end, which we need to delete. So there we go, we've got our API key. All happy. Right, next we need our YouTube username or channel ID. Now, I have like 5 different YouTube usernames, but let's just show one. Go to your YouTube channel. It can be any channel you like, to be honest. So let's just go Gaijin Gumba, as I like the guy. Gaijin Gumba. We're on his channel now. If we see in the URL, that part of the URL that starts UC and then a load of numbers, that is the channel ID. So we could use the username. I'm going to use mine in this case. So I'm going to go back to my channel, and I'm going to take that ID, and we're going to paste that into the YouTube username or channel ID box, just like that. And the playlist ID, we can leave the playlist ID blank. If you leave it blank, it will automatically set it to the all uploads playlist. So if you want this to import all the videos on that channel, then leave it blank, it will do that automatically. If you do want to set it to a playlist, go to the channel you want, go to playlists, and if we select any playlist from here, let's go gaming gear. So once we're looking at a playlist, we get this ID up in the top here, and that's our playlist ID. It starts PL, and that's what we want to copy into this box. So next bit is the Chron Frequency. How often is this going to import videos in seconds? The default is 3600, which is 1 hour in seconds. You can set this to anything you like. You can set it to 0, which will disable it, and then it will only manually import. In most cases, the default should be fine for you. Next, we have the content type. The content type it can be any content type, to be honest, but I find it's usually best to have created a specific content type for this. That way you can have a content type that has a YouTube field, and it's not going to interfere with all your other content. You can change the way you can make it, use all the YouTube data to fiddle with the field settings and make it lay out nice. So in my case, it's videos. Okay, then there's the author. By default, your author will be set to nothing, which will be anonymous, but you can pick any user on the site. They don't have to have permission to create this because it's actually created by the main admin user. But you know, this, if you want it to say, I don't know, let's say you run a site with 3 or 4 different YouTubers, you can make sure this imports to under their username if you wish. Right, so you won't see this link here until you've actually saved your settings for the first time. So once you've put all of this data in, click on the Save Configuration Settings. And the important part is that it's picking up the content type, because you won't get any field mapping below until we've saved this for the first time. So I'm going to just quickly refresh the page rather than saving it, because I don't want to save these details. I already have those details set up for this site. So we're going to go down the page once we've saved it. We now have this click here to run import now, but we don't want to do that straight away. What we want to do is review all this field mapping. Now, some of these are pretty obvious. We've got the option of all the different YouTube fields, title to go in the title, published date to go in the created date. The published date is the published date the video was published to YouTube. So if you're adding a channel, for example, and they've got a video that's published a year ago, when you import this, you can have the created date set to whenever that video was actually added to YouTube. So it will appear on your website as if it was the content was created like a couple of years ago when the video was. Okay, so description is the body. I like this one a lot, the fact that we can set the description to the body content. So basically, if we make a point to write whatever good info we put, if you are in good habits on YouTube and put in a little bit of text in the description, it basically automatically writes the body for you. So next one's the YouTube video field. I usually set that as the share URL. The video ID will work too. After that, thumbnail, you can import the video's thumbnail. It's not necessary to do that, because with a YouTube field, you can set up a YouTube field to be a thumbnail link rather than just being the video itself. So it's not 100% necessary, but if you want to play about with the image styling, you can import that. Next one's number of likes. I have the likes showing on this video. You can have likes, dislikes, favorites, whatever you like. This is just an integer field. So once we've set all these up, we click Save Configuration Settings, and then we're done. We can just walk away then, and it will, as long as we've set everything up, it will work. But just to make sure everything's working, click here to run the import now. It really doesn't take long. Just going to let this run. And this channel I'm importing from at the moment has a couple hundred videos, so it's going to be pretty. It's not going to take long, not long at all. Okay, there we are. 50 videos found. It'll find another 50 later, and then another 50. It's kind of limited to doing 50 at once. Just so you don't spam YouTube servers. But okay, so once we've done that, we'll go to the home page. And there the videos are displaying in the content types I've created for this website. Those of you who are observant will notice that I am actually demonstrating this on a different website to the one I showed you setting up the credentials for. It's because this one is a lot more beautiful. Okay, so here we are. This is just a matter of how you want to set your content type up, but let's skip to the content. And there we go. There is our YouTube field. Press play. That's going to start playing. Okay, awesome. We've got the description that was already in the video below. We've got number of likes. I've not really configured this to show properly yet, but there we go. That's how you set it up, guys. Any problems? Drop on the module page and put it in the issue queue. So there you go, guys. Enjoy. Bye bye.